Thank you, Dan. Charlie Kirk, 31 years old. He's got 2 kids. He travels around the country, as we mentioned, and has a busy schedule at all times.
Yeah, and was supposed to be here in Cleveland here coming up. Our team coverage continues with Jeff Slauson.
Yeah, so he was actually scheduled to be here. That was going to be in 16 days. He was going to be making a speech at a hotel downtown. That would be with this group here. This is the Center for Christian Virtue within the Ohio chapter. Now, they basically are a group that focuses very heavily on policy related to what they call Christian virtues. Again, he was expected to speak there in 2 weeks as their quote-unquote keynote speaker. The idea behind this event was saying it was a networking opportunity with political leaders, so there was a large chance that local and statewide political leaders would be attending this as well. Now, the actual price for this event, pretty astonishing. Some of the tickets ranging as high as $25,000, with a lot of the portions, it says, going toward their mission. Now, I did call and reach out to the organization that was sponsoring this. As of us airing this, of course, they have not gotten back to us, but still, Charlie Kirk was expected to be here in just a few weeks. Unsure what that means for this event, of course, and for the people that were going to attend, but he was the keynote speaker there. They were touting how big of a deal it was for them to be able to have him speak on Christian virtues, and then also, of course, politically, how they feel that should help the state of Ohio. As soon as we get an update from that organization, of course, we'll let you know both on air and online.
Okay, Jeff, thank you. And again, repeating our breaking news, conservative activist, he's a close ally of President Trump. He is the CEO and co-founder of the conservative youth organization Turning Point USA. Charlie Kirk is in critical condition. He was shot during a college event in Utah, broad daylight. As soon as we get an update, look for a push alert from the 19 News app and on 19 News Plus.